Alrighty, waiting for the Twitch app to load up. We're doing that. Take a little swig of some water. I've gotten down four rogues so far. Now I just kind of felt like saying adding my 2 cents to the topic of rogues on Rogue Company. Um, the game's in its first week right now. As I start doing these little mini streams to record a little bit of content to share my thoughts on them. And so far I've had a chance, fortunate enough to get access to all of them so far. So I had a chance to kind of play with a few of them. GL1tch, let me see if I actually, before I get into it, if I played him a little bit. I've played, obviously I have my favorites so far. GL1tch, I don't think I've actually used. So it's just going to be my impression of dealing with GL1tch and maybe just kind of speculating on what I feel like GL1tch is going to be and stuff like that. I might have used him. I'm not 100% sure. But it's first week out. It's a pretty fresh game coming out, so the servers are going to take a beating for everybody trying to get in. So matchmaking's a little tricky right now. I'm waiting for a buddy or two to hop on anyway, so figure why not add my 2 cents. First off, I like the way GL1tch looks. He's really cool looking. One of the world's most notorious hackers, GL1tch uses his skill and technology to win battles. Hacking ability. Activate a device that can detect nearby enemy signals and infiltrate their systems. I like hacking in Call of Duty Warzone. So I imagine I would also like hacking in here. It's passive, and I can't speak for actually using it because I don't think I've had a chance just yet. So I'm just going to speculate, give you my 2 cents on it. Passive intuition, detect nearby enemy equipment, even through walls, kind of like spotter in Warzone stuff. So those two are actually perks that I use on Call of Duty Warzone a lot because I like to get as much information as possible on the battlefield. For those of you who like, what's his name on Apex Legends? You know what I'm talking about. Anyways, just getting a lot of information, and I think they do really well. Rogue Company, High Res and all them, they do really well to give a lot of flexibility on each character to have a little bit of everything. Again, as I've said on a couple of them, I'm not a big shotgun guy, although Anvil I like just because he can soak up damage, and I started off with him initially. So I think I actually used him. I think I might have ran LMP, the LMP-X. So I have this kind of bias towards catching a primary as soon as I can. Again, like I've said on most of these, depends on the game mode so far. You've got like a team deathmatch and then like a demolition capture flag kind of thing. So it depends on which one you're starting. If they give you the funds to get you a primary, for me, I'd go with an SMG. But in this case, though, what I think is interesting is the range gets fairly good right here. I think Anvil's shotgun range is like 8.5 or something. I'll have to double check without tearing it up, something like that. But shotguns, if you're good with shotgun, I mean, go for it. All the shotguns on here seem to do pretty well. SMGs, some of them, depending on the handling, might kind of bounce a little bit. Range, obviously, is pretty solid. I would max these guys out. I really would. Just SMGs, DMRs, stuff like that. I like maxing those guys out. Executioner, for whatever reason, at least tier 1, I think, is pretty solid. I don't hip fire the pistols too often. It's more of a secondary and usually pretty close, so I don't personally worry about it, but maybe someone likes to max it out. Baseball bat, I've seen a couple guys have them. Again, I'm not a melee type. I kind of panic swing usually, so I don't do so good. And on here, I think the right D-pad it's set up for me, which is hard when I switch to different games. Like if I'm coming from Warzone or something else, where I have the configuration for the control, and I haven't messed with the controls, which I probably should, to change melee to something else. I'll probably do that afterwards. But as far as his gadgets, very straightforward. If you're playing a shooter game, you kind of understand flashbang, semtech. What I think makes him a little different is he's got padded step like Dallas, which I think is a pretty cool perk. I'd like to try to pick that up pretty quickly. I like to be as silent as possible. Bounce back might be kind of cool. Evade, I surprisingly, so far, I don't use it as often. I try to make it into a pocket of cover and concealment stuff and pop in and out. Nimble hands I really like for shotgun or anything. Doesn't really matter. I think it's a pretty cool perk if you're going to get a second one. Sixth Sense, that's also kind of interesting. I've seen that. I use it from time to time with a different rogue, but not too much. This one's a new one, I think. Tracker rounds. Damaging an enemy with a firearm will reveal them to your team. Now, it doesn't say reveal them for a short time, which is interesting because I know some of the other guys have like a passive. I think Dima has a passive burn, kind of the same thing where you down them or damage them or whatever else. It allows you to do that. So as for me, I think I would lean towards padded step and nimble hands just because that's the kind of play style I go with. And obviously these are just kind of case by case basis. At least have one, I think, is always important to have one. And then the tiers, unless you want two, or a bigger radius, maybe not. Again, I don't use melee, so I don't really even buy that perk or skill set or whatever, or a part of the loadout. I don't use that. And I try to, if I have to, I'll get tier 1 on this. If I'm just running a pistol to start off with, depending on the game mode. But overall, like I like the hack ability. That seems to be pretty useful. If you know that the enemy team's going to be running somebody who's going to be using device, like if they have a sniper, right? If they have Phantom, right? And I didn't do this in the last games, but or the last little 2 cents videos I was doing. But if they have Anthem and she's got the sticky sensor, that's something to keep in mind. That you might want to play off of. Let me see who else has something. I might as well start looking into this. I don't see Spitfire's a good sidearm, by the way. Is it Lancer? Somebody here has some kind of detection gadget that I can't recall. Scorcher, I think, maybe. Incinerate. No, she's just kind of beastie, dude. It's a wild one. Talon, I think, is the one. No shit. Okay, maybe not. Let's see. I might as I'm gonna get stuck with not remembering. Active protection systems. That'd be a gadget you would want to try to hack most likely. I don't think Czech has anything. Dallas I don't think has anything. Just kind of pushing grenades. And someone had darts. Is it this guy that has? No, he doesn't have darts. But anyways, most of his stuff is pretty straightforward. I think you would probably pick him mainly for his ability and his passive. I think he's good to kind of read the battlefield, especially if you figure out the enemies have some kind of stuff that you want to infiltrate, and I think that's pretty useful. It just depends. Outside of that, I usually don't pick him unless I just really like the LMP, which again is a pretty solid perk. I can see people, if you're not too reliant on his passive and his ability, I can see people using glitch as more of a flank or a push, right? And this is obviously going to be preference, shotgun's preference, whatever else. There's a lot of people out there who are pretty talented with shotguns. Pretty cool. And just about anything. Even without tiers, like most of these stuff's pretty good. It's always kind of good later in the rounds to kind of at least get a sidearm up to tier 1. Melee if you really want to, I guess, but it's a preference. To me, I just don't use them. I'm not that good at it, so I can't say they're not valuable. It's pretty good if you're good at kind of flanking or coming up on them, and your reflex is good, then why not? But like padded step, SMG padded step, maybe evade if you really, really want to, but nimble hands and just kind of really rush them. Um, and then these are just more battlefield senses kind of thing. Those are pretty cool. If you're going to be using your actual skill set, the ability, I can see people probably picking up these perks. This might be kind of cool when you first start off because it's it's a little tricky to get used to so far. I haven't had too much experience with some of them. I think one of the snipers has it as well, where you can kind of tell if someone's looking at you. It's got like it flashes like a yellow or a red eye or something like that. It's helped me out a little bit so far. So I think definitely right now take a look at it and get kind of familiar with it. This one's kind of interesting again. Might be useful. So the first one, padded steps, and the last one I think are pretty solid. This one, depending again on the map or whatever else. But Glitch is going to be an interesting guy. It just kind of depends. As from what I see, uh, you know, Anvil's going to be somebody people play a lot. They might be using the APS. They might. So if they're doing that, then I can see that being a thing and using Glitch. Outside of that, I see Dallas being played quite a bit, so you don't have to really worry about his stuff um, for hacking and whatnot. Dima, I don't. Off and on, I see him. I like him as well. Saint, though, I think you can mess with his revive drone. I think so. That'll be kind of interesting. Trip mines. He's kind of a pain. Trip mines, and you got another grenade with spikes or something with somebody else. The video's a little longer than I thought. I just kind of went off on a tangent on some of the things, just because I haven't played Glitch too often, or not at all. At least it looks like. Though I thought I did play him once. I've seen other people use him. I don't see him too much early on right now in the first week of gameplay. Off and on, it might be just because not everyone has access to him, or everyone's kind of fighting for Dallas, Anvil. I see Talon, Trench quite a bit. Saint, obviously, everyone wants to have a healer on the team, and the other ones are kind of a preference. It seems like is my impression. You know, Phantom, Ronin, whatnot. So that's what I got for Glitch, and I'll go next one. I'll do Lancer. So I'll be back.